I'm going to get started. My name's Stephanie. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the City of Douglasville's Mainstreet manager. I manage the service program, and I recognize a lot of you guys. I got a couple pieces of information for you on the table, and the first one is a map, and you can see that. That is the Downtown Development Authority service area. And what the Downtown Development Authority is an appointed group of people, they're volunteers, that City Council has appointed to basically oversee and help with the development of this particular service area. Prior to last year, our service area basically included Spring Street, Church Street, Broad Street, and Strickland Street. As you can see, it has expanded significantly. I call it the stingray. It looks like a stingray. And we went from 170 businesses in the service area to our total number of businesses right now, well, total number of properties right now are 268. And I think our business count in the properties, because some properties have multiple businesses, is in the 300s. So we basically doubled our numbers with expanding our service area. Currently in the service area, we have an 89.55% occupancy rate. That is very, very good for Georgia. I was recently at a regional conference, and we are one of the higher. We have one of the higher occupancy rates for our program compared to some of the other Main Street programs. Now, the way that the Downtown Development Authority works, just to kind of get you guys up to speed, is they work with the Main Street program, which is a program out of the National Trust that is specifically for downtown revitalization. So I manage that program for the city, and I account for the program to the state. We have to be designated every year. We have to go through a designation process. Our Downtown Development Authority board members chair the committees that are on the Main Street program, and there's 4 committees. And I won't go into that. You can look on the website for that. And Michelle's going to touch on that a little bit later when she talks about our Main Street program. But one of the primary things we're trying to do in the Downtown Development Authority is to improve the aesthetics of the buildings, specifically the historic buildings. We're trying to bring businesses into the downtown to fill the vacant spaces, and that basically essentially creates jobs. What we started doing a couple years ago was working on what is called our Opportunity Zone. And this is also a state designation where we submit an application to the state where certain areas in our, and this is one of the reasons we expanded, there's 2 reasons we expanded. One's for opportunity zones, and the other is for the 92 highway project to deal with the way that the downtown will be bypassed by the new 92 rerouting. But one of the reasons we applied for opportunity zones is because as a business owner, if you are in any of the adjacent opportunity zone areas, which basically fall in that service area that we have created, you can qualify for employee tax credits. Anytime you have a full-time job of more than 2 employees that you create, once the opportunity zone is in place, you can earn up to $3,200 per employee per year in payroll tax credits. That's astounding numbers, especially for you, Tim, because you guys have so many employees. So any of the businesses, and you would fall under that if you decide to do more job creation. Once we get established and applied, our application's being looked at by the state right now. So that will be a process, and the application process is long, but we're here as an office to help you walk through that and to get the ball rolling. So basically, we've created an area that we have a lot of incentives. Opportunity zones is just one of those incentives to get a business to purchase property or lease property in the downtown to start a business. And I'm going to talk briefly about the different incentives we have in the downtown. And this will be really pertinent for you as a real estate agent so that you know that we have a totally different scheme down here than outside of the boundaries. You will not find this type of programming in any other part of the city. So if you guys want to pull out your little brochure, we'll go through some of these incentives. I'm going to go through them quickly, and then if you guys have any questions on them, you can email me, you can call me. If you want me to help you apply for them, you can come to my office, and I will help you fill out the applications. Our office is a completely full-service office. We are literally here to be your liaison in making your business run better. And like I said, one of the reasons we did invite real estate agents to this is because we want the real estate agents and the bankers to be aware of these incentives. So if you happen to have a property that's listed in our service area, you're going to have a lot more leverage with a potential property owner. Okay, if you open up, the first program that we have that is one of our incentives, and this is probably our biggest and best. This is run through the Department of Community Affairs as well as the Georgia Cities Foundation, and this is a downtown revolving loan fund. Basically, what you can do as a potential property owner or as a current property owner that you want to renovate your property, you can apply for DDRLF money. Currently, the DDRLF money is at 2%. You can apply up to $250,000 per agency. So you can apply up to $500,000 if you apply to both agencies, the Downtown Community, Department of Community Affairs, as well as the Georgia Cities Foundation. And it's a basic match. It's a 10-40-10. So your DDRLF money will basically cover about 40% of your entire project cost. So if you're and it covers acquisition and renovation. It doesn't cover things like kitchen equipment if you're opening a restaurant. But if you're looking to rehab a space in the service area, you will qualify for that. And there's some more information on that. I'm going kind of quick on some of these, but I don't want to keep you guys too long. And the way that works is you apply through the Downtown Development Authority for this funding. So you'd come see our office, we'd help you fill out initial program assessment, we'd send it off to the state, we basically handhold you through the whole process. You would require some collateral, and that's just going to be necessary for any type of a loan program because it's not a grant, it's actually a loan. So say you had a property in the downtown and you wanted to sell that property, you can throw this incentive out. Oh, by the way, this property qualifies for downtown revolving loan fund money, which is at 2%. You can borrow up to $500,000. Or in your case, Tim, if you guys wanted to, do some expansion or renovation, you would probably more than likely qualify for it as well. You're not going to get a bank right now. Banks are not lending. In fact, we just refinanced our building, and we had to come up with 20%. We had to come up with 20% down to refinance our building. So banks are not lending money right now as easily as they were in the past. So this is a really good opportunity if you have the collateral to come in and start a project and get a project going. The second item on here, and this is a little bit tricky, and we're going to be talking a lot more about this at our next meeting, which is our downtown property owners meeting, and that's historic tax credits. And I'm really not going to go into that because it only applies to historic buildings, and it's very, 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 very complicated. But if you do own a historic building, it's an incredible opportunity to save a ton of money by claiming historic tax credits. And there's a whole state process you have to go through that. But it's another incentive. Like I said, if you had a property in the downtown that you were trying to market and sell, and it was a historic property, another incentive to add to the list of potential savings. We had a workshop on this recently, and one of the property owners came and he basically purchased and rehabbed his property for $500,000. Once he went through the whole process of the tax credits, he ended up saving $277,000 in tax credits. So basically, half of his whole project costs were paid with tax credits. So there's a way to actually make this work. But like I said, you have to have certain conditions, and one of them being a historic property. And like I said, we'll be talking about a lot of that at our next meeting, and which anyone's more than welcome to attend. The Georgia Green Communities Fund is the newest and program offering. It's very similar to Downtown Revolving Loan Fund. It's a low-interest loan, but it's specifically for adding new and improved equipment, anything that is environmentally friendly. So say, Tim, you guys were looking at doing an addition. If you did it a green addition and did it environmentally friendly, you'd probably qualify for that, like your HVAC, that type of thing, or if you wanted to do an upgrade on your space, that you'd qualify for that too. And that's a lower one. You can't get up to, I think you can only get up to about $100,000 on that one. And it gets, my bad, you can get up to $250,000 on it. And it's low, its current rate is at 3%. The other thing that we offer, if you were looking to rehab a property, is design assistance. We can apply for design assistance through the state, where basically we take pictures of your building and we send it off to our historians that work for the Georgia Trust, and they will create a actual outside facade design for you for your historic property. And that's just helpful, because you can take it to an architect and you can get your plans going, and you can take it to Historic Preservation Committee and get it approved a little bit quicker than had you gone on your own, because they actually work in historic preservation, the designers that work for the Georgia Trust. So that's another incentive if you were looking to rehab or sell a downtown property. If you flip over on the back, we have a facade grant program. And this is probably one of the incentives that is most taken advantage of. We offer 2 facade grants a year, up to $3,000 matching funds. So say you purchased a downtown property, or you went to lease a downtown property and you wanted to completely do the facade, renovate it, redo it. We offer up to $3,000 in grant money, which you do not have to pay back, and you just have to match it. So say you spent $9,000 on your facade upgrade, we would match you $3,000. Or if you spent $200 on your facade, we'd match you $100. So it's a matching grant program that is ran through the DDA, and we offer 2 of those a year. Our hope is in the future that we can get our funds up good enough that we can offer more of those facade grants to downtown businesses, and that's how and Michelle will talk a little bit about how our fundraising program works, so that all those funds that go into our fundraising program will either go into our events, which brings traffic into the downtown, which brings businesses and brings customers, or it will go into our facade grant program, which improves the aesthetics of the downtown so that we just have a nicer looking downtown. The last incentive is really interesting, and we have yet to have anyone take advantage of it. We have a retail incentive. And basically, if you come into the downtown and you open a retail business and you stay for a year, the Downtown Development Authority will pay your last month's rent or your last month's mortgage up to $1,000, as well as a $500 startup advertising, give you a $500 startup advertising budget. Currently, the downtown doesn't have a lot of retail, and we'd like to see more in the downtown. So that was a way of trying to recruit retail businesses to the downtown. Okay, so these are our downtown incentives. And like I said, there's lots of ways we can combine them. There's lots of ways that we can, you can work with our office to help us tailor it right for you, for your property, for your rehab or your acquisition. Any questions? I know I went a little bit fast, but
Stephanie, one of the things I'm sure that you're aware of, but
one of the things I wanted to talk about, there's a little flyer on your table, and I only put one, but there's some more in the back if you want to grab one. The Georgia Downtown Association is the association that kind of works with the Mainstreet program in Douglasville, as well as throughout the state. And we recently went to the Capitol to talk to the elected officials, making sure that we don't get any of our budget money cut, and to also show them basically what we do as a program. Our program for the state of Georgia created 2,682 jobs last year. That's more than a Kia plant. And we did it with very little expense, very, very little expense. To bring a Kia plant into Georgia was extremely expensive, and they had a lot of things waived. There was a lot of concessions made. We as managers on a daily basis bring jobs into historic downtowns, and that's almost 3,000 jobs that we brought to Georgia in 1 year. That's 1 year. We do this every year. This is something we do every year. All of our numbers are reported monthly to the state, so we keep very close records on, and this is probably a low figure, to be honest with you, because a lot of times my service area is so large, I can't always account for every job that's being created in my service area. So I just kind of wanted to point this out about what we actually do as a program, so that you can see we're not just a stagnant program, we're actually moving and grooving. I mean, we are constantly doing something different. Right now, we've got 3 significant rehabilitations going on in the downtown, just in the historic properties alone. And so that's kind of what our business is. Our business is literally to help small businesses get into space, get going, and then once we get you open, we help promote you, we help train you. Ask Patty, I'm sure Patty's been to most of my training sessions. And we do a lot of training sessions. We just had a training session last month on new tax laws. And we had a certified public accountant, and Vonda was there, and that was really good. I got a lot of information out of that myself from my husband's small business. And before that, we had one on insurance. We've got one coming up on legal, like what kind of legal things you need for your business. Things that you would have to go to a professional and pay for, we provide for free. And we also provide lunch and breakfast. So take a couple hours out of your day to come in and take advantage of our training programs. And that's something that my programming can offer to the community, and it's open to any people outside of my service area as well. You do not have to be in the service area to participate, and you don't have to pay to participate, which is great. And so that's something we're striving to do in the downtown. It's not just about the downtown, it's about Douglasville and the community, keeping our jobs local, keeping our tax dollars local, keeping our shopping local, so that we are all just building our community. And this program is so exciting. I every time I go to one of our conferences, I just get so excited because nothing else exists to help poor small business people that are trying to get on their feet or maintain their business than this program. And it's really exciting. And it's free and complimentary because we are a certified Mainstreet program. I'm going to have Michelle come up. She's one of our board members, and she manages the organization committee for the Mainstreet program. There's 4 committees, and she'll talk a little bit about that. And she's going to talk a little bit about our Friends of Mainstreet program, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about outside of the bricks and mortar, what we do outside of bricks and mortar. Besides business recruitment, we do a lot of promoting of the downtown and activities in the downtown. So I'm going to turn over to Michelle for a minute, and then I'll come back, and hopefully Terry will be here. And we'll keep going. And then we are going to take you guys on a small tour today. It won't be very long, but I want to show you a rehabilitated space and kind of what we do, some of the projects we're working on.
Good morning, and my name is Michelle Clark, and I am a DDA board member. I chair the organization committee. The DDA board has 4 committees: organization, promotions, economic restructuring, and design. And my job as part of the organization committee is to recruit people and fundraising. And so that's what I do. I'm talking about the Friends of Mainstreet program today, which is one of our fundraising opportunities. And the Friends of Mainstreet is a nonprofit membership organization devoted to the revitalization of downtown Douglasville. And we're committed to helping residents and businesses and property owners enhance their buildings. One of my board members is here today, who is Vanessa Morris, who's in the back. If you look at your brochures, it's the one that looks like this. We've created a la carte brochure, and it gives you an idea of some of the services that we have. All of the monies that we get from our events go back into this program. And so, as Stephanie mentioned, it helps sustain the facade program. We have a listing of, actually, we just came off of a training session, and so we've gotten some great new ideas to help some businesses. And as Stephanie said, she'll speak to you guys individually on some of the new ideas that are out there. As you can see, our sponsorship includes meals and deals, breakfast clubs, banquets, and markets. We have an upcoming market at the end of April. Some of the businesses that we have in the area that participate, I'll just mention Anchor Heating and Air, which is sponsoring the Mainstreet markets. We have Greystone Power, which I'm sure you all know, and they're hosting our recognition banquet. But some of the smaller groups, we have the Central Douglasville Business Association, which is hosting some of our breakfast clubs. And you can also collaborate with other businesses. Behe, which is out of the Old Douglasville Museum, is sponsoring a breakfast next month with Little Mama's Soul Food Restaurant. And it's an opportunity for businesses to come together to let you know what's going on, what they're all about, and what they're doing. And also it's publicity and advertisement. So it's a great opportunity for you to join and become part of what's going on in downtown Douglasville. Also, I can simply say, with regard to what Stephanie was mentioning, creating jobs, I'm one of those persons whose job has been created. Not only am I on the board, but I also work in the office with Stephanie and Marsha Hampton. And so I'm one of those jobs that was created out of the DDA. And I guess that's it for me. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? No.
And that's kind of just the bare bones on what we do to fund some of our programs. Some of our programs funded by the city, and then the other part is funded by fundraising. So, but all of our fundraising, if you noticed, brings people into the downtown or supports business training for the service area businesses. So it's kind of a catch-all. So it's not that you're just, if you're paying into our programming or if you're sponsoring one of our events, you're actually, come on in, you're actually getting a pretty good bang for your buck. Okay. What I want to do now is I do want to get a little discussion going with you guys, just to see how we can better serve you as a program. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the events we have coming up, and let me get my flyers. Yeah. I'll give you guys, yeah, if you'll give it a couple to each table. Even if you're not in a physical location, we do have opportunities for you to come and to participate with us. And Patty does this frequently. She's a vendor at many of our different activities that we have. We do have vendor opportunities. So if you're a small business, maybe a home-based business, you're welcome to come to our events and be a vendor. And we've got a couple coming up. The first one is April 23rd, and that's going to be Earth Day. That's sponsored by Alexander High School. And that's going to be down here in our plaza. And then April 30th, we've got our Mainstreet Community Market. And we're running a tour of homes, our spring tour of homes that day. And we're also running our Douglasville's Got Talent competition that day. So there'll be tons of people in the downtown. So it's an ideal opportunity for you to set up a booth. We're doing things a little bit different this year. We're having all of our booths in Church Street. So it's a little more, walkable and a little more friendly, pedestrian friendly. Kids activities, a lot of stuff going on. And then the third event that the city is hosting is the Juneteenth celebration, which is June 18th. We had such an awesome turnout last year for that. This will be our third annual Juneteenth, and it's the celebration of the emancipation of slavery. We get a lot of Atlanta crowd for that. So if you're trying to tap into an Atlanta market or a regional market, really good opportunity to have a booth space at that. And that's something we try to do, is to provide opportunities for our smaller businesses to come out and showcase their business. And as you can see, our schedule is completely full. Look how many events we do in a month. And this schedule doesn't actually include all of the events that the Chamber or the Cultural Arts Council does. We constantly have something going on in the downtown to bring foot traffic into the downtown. It's really important to have that foot traffic because those are the people that eat at our restaurants, those are the people that shop at our shops, and those are the people that patronize our service businesses. That being said, I do want to talk a little bit about spaces and what you can do with a space in the downtown. Recently, we went to, Michelle and I went to a conference up in Dahlonega for my programming, and they had a marketing specialist there, and she was absolutely amazing. She gave one of the best presentations I've heard in a really long time, and I wish I had her presentation because I would give it to you. So amazing. And what she does is she travels around the country, and she looks for different ways that retailers can showcase, just really innovative ways to showcase retail and to promote retail. And she does it specifically for downtown areas. And one of the things she talked a lot about was sharing space and having businesses that can come in and rent a space, but yet share a space. And so if you've got a larger space building, which I'll show you one today when we do our tour, it's really important to be able to have an understanding of who you can partner with and maybe do incubator type space like arts incubators, business incubators, where you've got joint space. One of our board members recently purchased the Penley building, which is an old Rutgers building, and it's huge. It is just a huge open warehouse. It's gorgeous on the inside. He's cleaned it up. It's really cool looking. And what he's doing is he's creating cubicle space inside there so that as a small business professional, you can come in and rent a space for a reasonable amount of price, have a shared conference room, have a shared media room, shared copy space, have receptionists at the front, and you'll have your own personal little cubicle space, so that you have an actual office versus having someone come to your home. So those are the types of things that are innovative in creative marketing, is that a lot of people are looking at shared office space as opposed to just spending $2,000 a month and renting a building. And this is something that we're looking forward to him getting opening, because he's probably going to have about 20 to 40 spaces once he gets the top and the bottom done, as well as event rental space. And so that's an opportunity, especially like Vonda, that'd be a great opportunity for you, because you'd have an actual, have phone lines and fax lines and, all that right there in that space. And we'll be looking at a couple spaces down here that have some good potential for like a salon, once they're rehabilitated. That's the catch, is working with the property owner to rehabilitate those spaces. And that's something we're looking at doing, is working with property owners. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be having the annual property owners meeting. They'll basically be getting the same information that you're getting, only we're going to be just pushing it a little bit harder, because they actually own the properties that need to be rehabilitated. Right. And showing them a little more creative ways to market those properties, and the ways, and go updating them on the incentives, and letting them kind of talk, because they're frustrated too as property owners. They're having a hard time getting tenants. But we've also got a lot of rehabilitation that's happened in the downtown, and in the last 8 years, it has totally changed. You're looking at a different, and that's a combination of economy as well as our downtown programming, kind of getting in there and kind of going, come on, please, we'll give you this money and we'll help you work with this. Anyway, so there's some potential for you as small business owners to come in. Same with a real estate agent. I wish we could have had a couple more real estate agents here, because this is such a great program. What was that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're probably, she's like, now I have the inside scoop. Yeah, absolutely. And please feel free to talk to me if you want to. But you can see where we have lots of opportunity to create really interesting businesses down here. And that's the trend. Business incubation is the trend right now, and it's really popular, as well as some interesting marketing. I'll just give you a couple points that we learned from our training session, and I wish I had her slides because they were just amazing. What she was doing was she had captured some people doing some really innovative stuff. She had property owners who didn't have who had empty spaces that they couldn't fill, and they had partnered with national companies to do these little spot storefronts. So she had like Nike, where they had a whole display in their empty building, and they rented that space out just on a month-to-month basis, so that there was a display in there. So when people walk by, there's a big display in the window. So it was a really interesting program, and those are the types of trainings that we get, and we love to pass that on to you. Like I said, I'll be going into more in depth with the property owners and when we do their meeting, because that's a little more pertinent to them who have empty spaces. But there's lots of opportunities to market your space in the downtown. Our downtown is becoming the place where people congregate as a community. That is our goal. Our goal is not to tear down these historic buildings. Our goal is to rehabilitate these historic buildings, keep our history, keep our heritage, and create an environment where people want to walk and play and live.